The relationship with Piers Morgan had to terminate. The advice I would have given to Piers Morgan is, unfortunately, this is business. When you decide to become an entrepreneur, start a business, or even if you're a celebrity, you are in the world of business. And one of the hard truths about business is, and I believe it needs to be talked about more. You are listening to episode 28 on Turn Coffee into Clients podcast show. Prince Harry and Meghan's interview by Oprah Winfrey drew an audience of 17.1 million in the United States. And viewing numbers are increasing daily as the interview has been seen globally around the world. I'd like to take a moment not to discuss the contents of the revelation and the jaw-dropping facts that has become a global media frenzy, with topics of whether Archie should or should not become a prince, the question on did the institution and the royal family protect or did not protect Meghan Markle following media scrutiny. In this podcast, what I choose to discuss and share a revelation with you is a truth of a business networking breakdown between Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle. You'll discover throughout the podcast to why Piers Morgan had a sensitive vendetta against Meghan Markle simply due to the fact of a breakdown of a business networking relationship.
This morning, Piers Morgan stormed off the set of the programme after his co-presenter criticised the way he had been commenting about the Duchess of Sussex and her interview with Oprah Winfrey. In the last few minutes, ITV have confirmed that Piers Morgan, who has been the presenter of The Breakfast Show on ITV since 2015, is leaving the show. In the statement, they said, following discussions with ITV, Piers Morgan has decided now is the time to leave Good Morning Britain. ITV has accepted this decision and has nothing further to add. Now, this comes after it was announced by Ofcom that it was launching an investigation after it received over 40,000 complaints following yesterday's episode of Good Morning Britain.
I've been a networking guru and speaker for over 13 years, and I've seen a thing or two with regards to business relationships and business networking and breakdowns of business relationships.
Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry.
That's Piers Morgan storming off the set of Good Morning Britain on Tuesday after his colleague, Alex Beresford, called him out on air.
Sorry, can't do
This
this.
is absolutely diabolical behaviour.
In journalism and the world of business, I sincerely believe in 100% freedom of speech. But what I also believe in is the strength of a business relationship and the power to remain professional. Because let's face it, regardless of the topic in question, on that said morning when Piers Morgan decided to react by jumping up and walking off set was not professional. However, I often like to be fair and give the opportunity to look at both sides of the coin with the objection to answer the simple question, why? Observing Piers Morgan's behaviour, I could clearly see It was a sensitive topic with regards to Meghan Markle, which clearly opened a closet of emotions and past emotions.
Coming up.
It really got me wondering why Piers Morgan left, and actually the truth behind his business networking relationship with Meghan Markle, and why this was a 100% sensitive issue with regards to Piers Morgan versus Meghan Markle. Whether you're a small business owner, a business professional, a startup, or a director on a board, there are essential lessons with regards to business networking relationships and mistakes that you can avoid. Before I dive into my tips and lessons, I would like to make a reference. You may hear me talk about the relationship between Piers Morgan versus Meghan Markle. Please remember, I am referring to a business networking relationship. As you will hear, when Piers Morgan first met Meghan Markle, according to his profile, he is married. I'd like to take you back to the year of 2016. Well, actually, to be precise, the summer of 2016, July 2016, because this is a poignant date within the royal family. This is a significant month and time when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had their first date. In this same very year, 2016, just a few months earlier, Piers Morgan met Meghan Markle. It's very much like the American film When Harry Met Sally. But may I remind you, this relationship is not a romantic relationship. It is a business networking relationship.
Piers, we're sitting at this beautiful table. I'm going to call this episode Between Two Flames. You see how that works? Why this table? What's happening here?
It's the best table in the pub.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's very special for you. With
Very special.
A little bit of a story behind it.
Well, it's quite a fun story, actually, because the genesis of my relationship with Meghan Markle was I started following a bunch of stars from Suits on Twitter, and she was one of them, because I loved Suits. And I followed about 4 of them. And the moment I followed Meghan Markle, I get a direct message from her saying, "Oh my God, I'm such a big fan, you know, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, okay, very nice." Start to correspond with her. We get on very well. We're talking about Suits plot line. She starts giving me a few juicy bones of plot lines to come. And then the guy that plays Louis Litt, Rick Hoffman, he gets involved. And then he comes on Good Morning Britain here. And suddenly we know it's the 3 of us and we're conversing and we're friends and it's all great. And then Meghan says, "I'm coming to London to do a few meetings, but to watch Serena Williams, her great friend, play at Wimbledon in the tennis tournament. Do you want to meet up?" And I was like, "Yes, I would love to meet up. Why don't you come to my local pub, the Scarsdale Tavern in Kensington?" Who would know what a fateful night that was, because she went from me here to her first proper date with Prince Harry.
Okay, how do you know that? How do you know that?
I know that because she spent 3-4 more days in England, and she had 2 nights with Harry. One at 5 Hertford Street and one, I think, at Soho House or something, because her friend runs the membership of Soho House. And 3-4 months later, it all came out. Harry dating actress. And I went, "Which actress? Whoa, 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 what?" And then it said they befriended each other in the last week of June when she was here to see her friend Serena Williams playing tennis. I was like, "Yes." And then they went out on like the Thursday night or whatever it was to 5 Hertford Street. I went, "Yes, I know that because I put her in an Uber from this pub to 5 Hertford Street."
This is a classic example of a business networking relationship gone bad. When one party decides to end the business relationship.
Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
During the courtship between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, there were discussions with regards to Piers Morgan. And the ultimate decision was, without question, immediately, Meghan Markle had to terminate and end her business relationship with Piers Morgan. And sometimes when a business relationship breaks down, at that moment in time, you may or may not know how you will react. And at that moment in time, you may not initially react. It may take you a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or a couple of years to feel the full impact of that relationship breakdown. And then you decide to react. And in this case, this is a great example of when and how Piers Morgan decided to react.
I don't believe a word she says, Meghan Markle.
Well, that's a
I wouldn't believe it if she read me a weather report. And the fact that she's fired up this onslaught against our royal family, I think is contemptible.
This is a clear example on how Piers Morgan chose to react on the difficult experience of a business relationship coming to an end, which he was not happy about. This is a clear, perfect example of the true nature in business and business networking that we do not always talk about. The business relationship between Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle was a clear threat on the courtship between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and ultimately, should they become a married couple. Working as an entrepreneur, I have witnessed and seen moments like this in business and business networking when there is a direct and clear threat to a business relationship, a business arrangement, a business contract, or simply a networking relationship. And there is only one ultimate decision, that the relationship has to be terminated. It's not unusual where some circumstances, when a business relationship has to be terminated, it can often feel like a divorce. In business, we often have to have a thick skin, or in other words, that hard eggshell. Not every business relationship or networking relationship will last forever. There are other examples in business when relationships break down. For example, co-founders of a business, when both parties decide to go their separate ways, or business partners that started a business together. The most famous case that I know you would remember is the troubling story of multi-million lawsuit paid some of the original co-founders of Facebook. May I remind you, the biggest story in tech, the moment Steve Jobs was fired by his board members and asked to leave Apple.
Those in favor of John Scully? All in favor of Steve Jobs? Mike, every board member's vote must be accounted for. Scully.
And that was the moment John Scully received the majority of votes over Steve Jobs. In this case of when Piers Morgan met Meghan Markle is a classic case of the definition of networking. I've spoken about this before on my podcast, and I aim to provide consistent messages and definitions of networking. And in my world of business, as a networking guru and networking speaker, the definition of networking is building a relationship for mutual benefits. So I can see as clear as day the mutual benefits between the business networking relationship between Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle. To start with, they both live in different countries. They are international celebrities. They do need each other in some respects. Meghan Markle is an accomplished actress on Suits who began dating Prince Harry, which resulted to more frequent visits to the UK. When Piers Morgan met Meghan Markle, being that they are both celebrities, they share many things in common, many of the same lifestyle, and ultimately their relationship is glued together by a common vision and a common need. So this is a perfect networking opportunity that he is and provides the necessary international mutual benefits from across the pond. And let's not forget, in Piers Morgan's previous interview, when he first met Meghan Markle, he shared with the interviewer that he was a big fan of Suits. And one of the biggest benefits of his relationship with Meghan Markle, or so-called friendship, was his ability to get the inside scoop on future episodes of Suits. Now, I'm a big Suits fan. I love to watch Suits. If you haven't watched it, all seasons are available on Netflix. I mean, I am such a big fan of Suits that I have Harvey Specter's business card in my collection. No, to tell a lie, I actually have it on my wall. I'm totally obsessed with Suits. And many close connections in my business network know that if I wasn't a networking guru, I would be a lawyer. So I'm actually thinking about recording an episode on how to network like Harvey Specter from Suits, who is the main character of the TV show Suits. And actually, within the program, he's very well respected within New York City and networks like a king, because there's so many lessons that I've learned that I would love to share with you. So I have to be honest with you, with my hand on my heart. If I was in Piers Morgan's position and an opportunity came my way to network with an actor or actress from Suits to receive juicy information on episode bonuses, who would say no to that?
The genesis of my relationship with Meghan Markle was I started following a bunch of stars from Suits on Twitter, and she was one of them because I loved Suits. And I followed about 4 of them. And the moment I followed Meghan Markle, I get a direct message from her saying, "Oh my God, I'm such a big fan, you know, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, okay, very nice." Start to correspond with her. We get on very well. We're talking about Suits plotline. She starts giving me a few juicy bones.
Something wonderful for your ears and your mind. Mixing business with pleasure.
There are lessons learned and networking tips I'd love to share with you following the relationship breakdown and end between Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle.
I'm not saying that you're a racist, but what
are you saying?
Do you know what I honestly feel? I feel as though because of your previous relationship with Meghan Markle, you've sometimes...
I didn't have a relationship with Meghan Markle.
But you met up with her, you knew her.
I knew her briefly.
Right, so we've joked about it on the show.
All that did was...
So
I'm allowed to speak.
OK, talk.
All that did was inform me that she's a bit of a cut and run.
Right.
Throughout her life, and all her family, her father, her ex-husband, her ex-friends, they've all been cut out of her life, right?
In my opinion, my conclusion is this. On the topic of freedom of speech, should Piers Morgan be entitled to freedom of speech? Absolutely. It's our birthright to have our own opinions, values, and beliefs. The question of professionalism. When Piers Morgan walked off stage during a heated journalism discussion, was that right or was that wrong? Was it professional or was it not professional? I believe this was an act of not being professional. However, professional can also have a value of a price of a watch. A price of a watch can easily start from £5, $5, all the way to $500. So sometimes it's in the eye of the beholder. What I will stand by is this. On that said day of the heated journalism discussion, Piers Morgan was performing a job role. Regardless if you're a journalist, a traffic warden, a key worker, or in the professional services, when you're performing a job role, you are employed to carry out a job description. So by walking off stage, he is not performing his job role to the highest standard possible, which can be seen as not being professional. However, there was a spice to the mix, because I mentioned earlier, you can hear in the tone and behaviour of Piers Morgan, this was a sensitive issue. This was a closet of emotions. And sometimes when emotions run high, it will affect your communication. Or sometimes you want to avoid the situation due to anxiety. So the easiest thing to do to avoid a difficult situation or difficult conversations is simply to get up in a huff and walk away. With regards to a business relationship, a networking relationship, yes. As a networking guru, I can categorically say this was a business relationship with the unfortunate threat to the royal family and the courtship between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, which led to the relationship with Piers Morgan had to terminate. And this happens every single day in business. The advice I would have given to Piers Morgan is, or the advice that you can sincerely take away from this podcast, unfortunately, this is business. When you decide to become an entrepreneur, start a business, or even if you're a celebrity, you are in the world of business. And one of the hard truths about business is, and I believe it needs to be talked about more as a prevention, there are risks in business. And also business may not go the way you want to. But we cannot control the risks in business. But what we can control is our choice on how we respond, our behaviours on how we'll react, and the words that come out of our mouths. So just remember, when things don't go your way in business, it's just business, nothing personal. And that's why I mentioned in the intro of my podcast, it's so important to have a thick skin in business or that outer hard eggshell. And don't forget the good news, because there is always good news in business. Never forget your powerful tools in business that you can control each and every single day. Remaining professional and your choice on how you respond and react will be the best business investment that you will ever make. Thank you for listening to episode 28 on Turn Coffee into Clients podcast show. I'm your podcast host, Bella Networking speaker and podcaster. I bring you 13 years of business networking experience, working as a professional networking speaker and online mentor. If you are searching for a professional speaker for your next event or online audience, drop me an email to podcast@turncoffeeintoclients.com.